Alright guys, this is gonna be a settings video. I'm not much into like the way your game looks, like visuals and stuff like that, because if you're on PC, which I'm not right now, on controller, I'm gonna get into settings. The reason settings is important, there's a lot of settings people don't touch, don't know much about, that can definitely improve or accommodate to their game style. So, just real quick, just so we can finish audio. If you're running a headset that's noise canceling or a closed back headset, if you don't know what that is, um, pretty much if there's a you'd want to run either boost or boost high depending on the quality of it. So the reason you want to run boost high, there's enough bass inside of the headphones because they're closed back. There's no reverb leaving. It's all inside. You're going to be able to hear more higher pitch things as well as the lower pitch things, so you have a good balance. Boost is somewhere in between. I have open bag headsets, which is pretty much there's no plate on the back and it's like a mesh material, so that way the sound goes through. So I have like a 3D sound stage in my headset, and for that you'd want to run boost low. Obviously the master volume, that's the global volume for everything. The effects are the effects in game. These don't really matter. Voice chat, all this, you can pretty much figure this out. There's nothing in terms of tips or tricks that you'll need to learn about that, but that's just the main thing here is finding your right audio mix. These over here, midnight mode, home theater, dynamic home theater, studio reference, they're really low pitch, and you won't get a lot of those audio cues like footsteps, which are huge in this game. So I would totally leave those out. Try boost high if you have closed back, and if you have open back, try boost low. And if you feel like you're not hearing what you need to, try boost. But it's gonna be somewhere between these three, unless you have some kind of crazy different type of headset. Then maybe you'd want to look into this. But those three, the boosts are the main ones you want to use. Going on to controller, your button layout. Okay, your button layout. If you look on the right side, you'll see X is jump, circles crouch, and squares reload. That's pretty much what the controller is going to look like if you don't touch it. For me, also keep in mind, right above the controller to the right, do you see where it says square, flip L1 and L2 and R1 and R2? What that is huge, okay? The difference in milliseconds between using a monitor and a TV is similar to the milliseconds difference between using L1 and L2. The reason is when you press L1 or R1, it is a quicker recognition of the controller than if you're clicking L2 and R2, because L2 and R2 are triggers. You have to pull the entire thing. Unless you have trigger stops or smart triggers on a Battle Beaver, I highly suggest switching your L1 and L2 and R1 and R2 so that you have L1 as aim down sight and R1 as shoot your weapon. That is 100% something you guys should try to adapt. I know a lot of you still use L2 and R2 to aim and shoot, but I'm telling you, for reaction time, which COD is a game of reaction time and speed, L1 and L2, I'm sorry, L1 and R1 are going to make a huge difference in your gunfights once you get used to it, and it will take time to get used to. But if you're dedicated and you want to put that time in, or just kind of force yourself into the habit of using L1 and R1, please go ahead, press square on your controller, or I believe it's X on the Xbox controller, and flip L1, L2, and R1 and R2. That aside, I personally play on bumper jumper tactical flipped. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like a Starbucks drink that you would order, but the reason I play bumper jumper tactical is because jumping in the middle of a gunfight, okay? When you're trying to jump in the middle of a gunfight, let's look at an example. If you were to press X and jump, okay, this is what it would look like. You're pressing X to jump. You have to move your finger, you have to move your thumb off the right stick. So you're not able to look left and right while you jump. You have to quickly move your thumb back, and during that time, you have to readjust everything, your centering, all that kind of stuff. But if I'm playing bumper jumper, I can jump and move as free as I want to. This is why I play bumper jumper. However, I don't suggest playing bumper jumper because it will take a long time to get used to. It took me about 3 weeks back in Black Ops 3, because back in Black Ops 3 you had to jump and fly around and shit like that. So I don't suggest it. However, if you think you can manage playing bumper jumper, I do recommend practicing a lot with it. Or alternatively, if you would like, there's controllers you can get like Battle Beaver, like Scuff, and the paddles and the buttons on those, they'll allow you to jump simultaneously while being able to have your finger on your right stick. And trust me, that is huge. If you're in a gunfight, this is how people, they're doing all these crazy movements. They're jumping and bunny hopping and all that. You'll see them like Jowo, and then he's like, boom, boom, bunny hop, boom, bunny hop, right? And the way you do that is by having access to your right analog stick and access to the jump button while not missing a beat. So that is why I play Bumper Jumper Tactical Flip. The stick layout preset I have is default. Southpaw and Legacy and all this kind of stuff, like, you can look into it. It's just not something I'm into. If you would like to change it, if you are Southpaw, Legacy, if you would like that, then you can change it. But for me, I play on default. Vertical look, that's obviously if you enable it. When you're moving your right stick up, you'll look down, and when you move it down, you'll look up. I only know a couple people that do that. One specifically is Thugga, and he's just a freak of nature. Okay, this one's a big one right here. Dead zone. Dead zone is essentially the range from the middle of your controller outward in a circumference of where your stick detects any input. So if people tell you they have stick drift, if people tell you, yo, I'm not moving my stick, but it's like it's moving like that by itself, what that means is the controller is detecting input because it's not properly aligned as it was when it was purchased, and the detection is causing the right stick to move. If you increase the dead zone, like I'll put mine on 0.10, the minuscule, like literally I'm moving my stick in the middle very slightly, but it's not detecting it because I've raised the dead zone. That zone is dead for any indication of an input, and when you lower it, if I make it 0, you'll see, look, I'm not touching it, but because my right stick isn't perfectly aligned like when I bought it, it's picking up the input that my stick is giving off. So, to find the right dead zone, you'd want it to be relatively low. You don't want it too high. Some people do play high, like I believe Super Evan used to play at 0.2 or 0.20, sorry. And which actually is the same thing, but he would play on 0.20. I suggest finding a balance. Move your stick around and then let it go and see if there's any input on it, and then that's probably the best way to find your dead zone. But you would want it to be as low as possible so that way you can get the perfect fine-tuned aiming on your right stick as you can get. So dead zone is definitely important. It's not a game changer. You're not going to put your dead zone at 0.3 and then you become a 3KD. That doesn't happen. Okay, now sensitivity. A lot of people, the default sensitivity is 3. 3 is pretty low, and a lot of people think they need to play 10, or they see Mutex playing 2020, or they see Smitty playing 17, 16, and they think, oh, well, my movement and everything's going to be great. Look, I'm cracked. I'm cracked, my guy. You see this? But then when it comes to shooting somebody, let's see if we can find somebody to shoot. It's going to be too difficult. You're not going to be able, look at this. You're not going to be able to, I'm exaggerating, of course, but like, you're not going to be able to have that aim. So how do you find that balance? Okay. What I suggest, start off with 5-5. 5-5 is not than 3-3, and you're able to move left and right somewhat okay. If you feel like you're not moving left and right quick enough, bump it up 1 to 6-6. Okay, so you're gonna go 6-6. See how it feels. For me, 6-6 is the right middle ground of being able to aim properly, right? Being able to aim properly and move around properly. Some people can go 7-7. Some people go even higher. And like I said, Mutex is able to play 2020, as well as Hector. But obviously that takes years of practice or just being absolutely cracked at the game. So, that being said, finding your sensitivity, I highly suggest going somewhere between 5 and 7. 5 and 7 for me are the sweet spots, especially if you're beginning the game. I would start off with 5. Or if 5 is too fast, I would start off with 4. But you definitely want to be able to get to somewhere between 5 and 7. And the reason is at 3-3, there's not much you can do physically to be able to turn around and move around freely in a gunfight, in an actual real scenario that can help save you, be able to turn on somebody, etc. So that should take care of your sensitivity. Obviously, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is horizontal and vertical is vertical. Not much to be said there. This one is a big one. ADS sensitivity multiplier low zoom. What this means is when you're ADS, right? So I'm using iron sights on this MP5. This is the multiplier for how fast you move while you're aimed down sights. While you're aiming down your sights, which is ADS is short for aim down sights, this is the speed you'll be moving. If I was to lower this, you'll see that it is much slower now. So in a lot of gunfights, if you feel like you're moving too fast past people, right? This is specifically for if you're using an assault rifle, or this is actually really good if you want to play a higher sensitivity. If you are on like 3 sensitivity or 4 and you want to try 5, 6, or 7, what you can do, change your sensitivity to 5, 6, or 7, lower your ADS, and you'll notice like maybe 0.9, 0.85 is a good one. Some people play on 0.8. Some people even play on 0.75. But what that's going to do is it's going to allow for more easy control of your ADS. And remember, a lot of Call of Duty is being able to hit your shots. So you don't want to be caught windshield wiping people when you're trying to shoot them. You want to be able to lock on to them, hold on, and hit those shots. You don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be on them. You want to be on them like that. Okay. So that takes care. Oh, and then the second one, high zoom, okay? High zoom means the sensitivity while you're ADS with a scope that is 3.25 times magnification or higher. So if you have like a sniper scope, a 4x scope, a 8x scope, a 6x scope, that's going to be the sensitivity for those specific scopes. So when you're using a sniper, your ADS sensitivity, if you change it, is going to be different from that of like iron sights or something like that. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So if you want to go crazy with the sniper, you can raise it. If you feel like you're moving too quick with the sniper, you lower it. Aim response curve. Okay. Standard is the simplest one to go by. It is the one Call of Duty has been using its entire tenure as a video game. Standard aim assist. We need aim assist as controller players because we're only using our thumb. We don't have our forearm, our wrist, our fingers to control a mouse like mouse and keyboard players do. So we have aim assist. Standard aim assist is pretty much whenever you're close to a target. Let me see if I can find one. If you're close to a target, you'll feel a slight pull towards that target, right? You'll feel a slight pull, and then when you lock in, it starts from the silhouette of the body. Dynamic aim assist is what I'm using, and you'll see a lot of people use it, and you'll hear people say it's better. It's better if you have somewhat good aim. It rewards good aim pretty much. So you don't get aim assist here like standard would. You see on the like right outside of the body, you don't really get aim assist. As soon as you get close, it locks right on. As soon as you're actually on the body. So if you feel like you don't have that good aim, like you can't really snap onto people like this, I suggest using standard so you get that little extra aim assist. But if you want more precision, you'd want to use dynamic aim assist for your response curve. And dynamic aim assist, if you don't use it now and you're using standard and you feel like standard, like your aim is good enough, like you feel, you know, like I'm pretty good at aiming, maybe I'm slacking on other things, but my aim is pretty good, throw on dynamic. You're going to feel the difference, but you're going to notice in gunfights because you're able to more finely tune where you aim on the body. Okay, that's good. Controller vibration, I have it disabled. I don't want any distractions when I'm in a gunfight. Aim assist, this is regular aim assist. It's disabled. Precision focusing, disabled obviously means you take it off. Standard is standard. It's traditional. Precision and focusing, those aren't I've only seen one person change this, and this was Formal, who's a COD pro. He changed it to precision because he's built like that. We are not built like that. He's one of maybe, I don't know, a handful of people that probably use precision. And focusing, I haven't seen anyone use. Just stick to standard. It's the strongest out of the four options. Okay, your weapon mount activity. This is how you mount on a this is how you mount on walls or on like top of a window or something like that. Pretty much use what you feel comfortable using to mount. I like using the double tap ADS, which is I hit L1 twice and I'm mounted. Here, I could show you real quick. Boom, I'm mounted. I prefer it that way. I prefer this. Some people use aim down sight and melee or crouch. This is just my personal preference, and I suggest you find a personal preference. Weapon mount exit movement. Just any movement. Like if I'm mounted, if I hit right or I get off of the, like I get off the mount. Next we have aim down sight behavior. You want this to be hold because you don't want it to be, I think the other, what is it, toggle? Yeah, toggle. Toggle means you hit it and it stays like that, which is not what you want to do. You want to have full control, so you want to have it on hold. Same with equipment behavior. This one's huge. If you're playing Warzone, you want contextual tap on. It literally pretty much means you press square to pick everything up, and to reload, you hold square, which is the opposite of what you're used to. It's going to take some time to adjust to it, but it's going to be so good when you're trying to loot up. You see people running Superstore, boom, boom, boom. They're picking everything up. How do they do it? Contextual tap right there. So this is what you want. You want to use contextual tap, depleted ammo switch. This means when your gun is out of ammo, it will switch weapons for you. You can disable that if you want. Slide behavior, this section right here, these three. Well, this one and this one. Slide behavior you want on tap. So if you're using tactical, which means you're crouching with R3, to slide you must be running. And when you slide, if it's not on tap, you have to hold the crouch button in order to slide. If you do not want to hold the crouch button, for me, it's clicking R3. If I click R3, boom, I slide. Boom, I slide. Boom, I slide. With just the click. And the reason that's important, one of the main aspects of this Call of Duty is your movement. You want to be able to slide cancel. That's when you see people, they're running and they're doing this. Why are they ducking and standing back up? This is a slide cancel. Why is it important? It's good movement to have. It throws off people. It's really hard to hit a target when they're slide canceling, right? And what it does mainly is it refreshes your automatic tactical sprint. When you're using tactical sprint, you're booking it. You're flying. You're moving as fast as possible with whatever weapon you're using, because the automatic tactical sprint mechanic in this game allows for faster movement over any other type of movement in the game, alongside the perk double time, which we'll look at right now. The perk double time doubles the duration of tactical sprint and increases crouch movement speed by 30%. So you can tactical sprint, and when you slide cancel, since you're canceling it, if you normally tactical sprint, there's a duration before this guy puts his gun down. With slide canceling, you can refresh your tactical sprint constantly. Constantly. Look, constantly. Boom. 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 So that's why it's important. You want to learn to adjust to putting automatic tactical sprint. Here's the issue with automatic tactical sprint. If someone's in front of you, it takes a little longer to shoot your weapon because the guy has to put his gun down. So that is the trade-off. So if you're comfortable with your movement, once you get comfortable slide canceling, which I'll teach you in the next video, I'll do a movement video, you may not want to run automatic tactical sprint, but maybe automatic sprint. Because sprinting in this game, movement is so huge. So I don't believe there's any more settings I need to go over. Oh, there's the vehicle camera. You don't really need this. There should be something else somewhere. Um, Trying to find it. Just give me a second. I don't see exactly where it. Oh, okay. I'm not on the Warzone settings. This is multiplayer. I don't have internet currently, but I figured I would still create the video. But I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's going to be apply all for your plates, your armor plates. And what that means is instead of holding triangle for the duration of putting on your 3 plates, if you hold triangle for like a second and let go, it will apply all the plates. And if you choose to cancel that option while you're automatically putting on all these plates and you're moving around and stuff like that, if you hit triangle once, it'll stop the animation for putting on the plates. And which is huge because you'll be able to control running around, putting on the plates, and moving your right stick because your thumb won't be on triangle. Or Y, I believe it is for Xbox. So that being said, that should cover all the settings for now, and then we will maybe discuss more in more detail when it comes into the topic of conversation on the next couple things we go over, like movement, like aiming, etc. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.